What's up, YouTube? This is Daniel Carter at Afro Herpkeeper here. I just got back 1 or 2 days ago from the Herps Conroe Reptile Expo. It's been a long time since I did any sort of expo video, so you can expect a full deal in the near future. But for now, for today, we are going to go over everything I got at the Herps Conroe Reptile Expo. So without any further ado, let's get started. My life is a bit of a mess, but I like it that way. Between juggling school, work, dozens of animals, and a constant drive to explore, things can get pretty hectic. But one thing always stays the same: a burning passion for wildlife and a desire to preserve the biodiversity of our world through public education, conservation, and animal care. My name is Daniel Carter, and you're watching Afro Herpkeeper. We have a lot of exciting stuff on the table here today, so let's get the not exciting stuff out of the way first. I picked up a mix of living and non-living items, so let's go with the non-living stuff first and foremost. Over here, on the front of the table, I have 4 Zoo Med Reptitherm under tank heaters, heat pads. I have 2 of these 10 to 20 gallon ones, and 2 of these 1 to 5 gallon ones. These were $16 a piece, and these were $18 a piece, so heat elements like this are always kind of expensive, but I figured an expo was the best place to buy 4 of them. Not only do you get to bring them straight home with you, but you are also benefiting a local business. So we have these 4 under tank heaters, and then on the other side we have 2 of these screen lids. So to the right of me, off screen, I have 2 20-gallon long enclosures housing my toads. I've got my Sonoran Desert Toad and my 2 Gulf Coast Toads in 20-gallon enclosures, and they have these weird locking, sliding lids that don't quite fit in place on the shelf where they're at. So these lids instead, you can just lift them right off. Should make things a lot easier for me. So these are for my toads. The heat pads are for my snakes and geckos. Can never have too many of those. I bought more than I actually need right now because I know I'll need some more in the future. To my left right here are some more extra supplies. These ones we get to unpack. These are some Pangea brand acrylic gecko feeding ledges. I already have a bunch of these, but like I said, can never use too many. I have lots of geckos, I need lots of ledges. So this is a feeding ledge. You put cups in here, fill them with gecko food, and you have these magnets that attach to the back, very strong like that. So I got 1, 2 of these things. These were $15 each, but they are rather high quality, and I had some money to spend, so I figured why not spring for it. Right behind those are the actual cups that fit into them. I have 125 of these little tiny ones. These are thankfully recyclable. I try to reuse them for a while before I toss them, but I will not run out for some time. So these ones are 1/2 ounce and these ones are 2 ounce. I only have 1 ledge that can fit these, and that is my Crested Geckos ledge. These little ones will be going in the Exoterra tanks behind me, which house my breeder geckos. Alright, so that is pretty much all of the inorganic material out of the way. Now we get to talk about the fun stuff. So as you can probably see, there are some bright green organisms on the table in front of me. These are obviously plants. I got these plants for $5 each, which I am excited about. They are all very cool species. This is called donkey ears for the reason that it has large donkey ear-shaped leaves. This is a baby. If put up high or in a hanging basket, these leaves will grow very large, over 1 foot in length, drape down around the plant like long donkey ears, and in addition to that, it's very easy to propagate. So this would look great in an arid setup, and you might see it in one of mine in the future, but I really just bought it for myself. So we got some donkey ears. This guy is called a tenaza. It's a little fern-like, tree-like plant. As you can see, the leaves are actually folding in on themselves, very similar to a sensitive fern, but this is not quite that kind of plant. If you go back to the beginning of the video, you'll notice that these leaves are actually significantly more open, and they will continue closing as the video goes on. They open up in bright sunlight, and then they close at night. Because there's no sunlight in here, the plant's a little confused. Right in front of this guy, is this. This is a species of palm from Madagascar. It's a teeny tiny baby, but it's covered in spikes, and it has this little crown of leaves. I think it's the coolest looking little plant. This might go into one of my setups. It might stay as a solo plant outside, but either way, really cool plants. I was happy to pick these up for just $5 each. I'm hoping that if and when I vend expos in the future that I'll be able to sell little propagated cuttings of plants. So, we've got the green stuff out of the way. We have some creepy crawlies in front here. This particular cup is labeled Gina lurida. This is a species of cockroach called the porcelain roach, and it adds to my ever-expanding cockroach collection by one species. All of the roaches in this cup are nymphs, so they're not adults, but there is a substantial number of them, so once they do turn into adults, I will have a nice little colony going. This makes for my 10th species of cockroach. Right next to them is this cup labeled RS for Daniel. These are a species of isopod, and the common name for these is red skirts. It's an Asian species of isopod. They are a little bit harder to come by than most of my current species, and they fetch a pretty penny, so I'm hoping that eventually I will have a colony of these up and running and I can resell them at expos in the future. So we have all of my supplies, my screen lids, my plants, and my creepy crawlies. I have 3 more things to show y'all. I can see one of them in the background over there, and 2 of them involve another YouTuber, Catalea. So this particular expo, Herps Conroe, September 2018, was the first time I actually got to meet fellow YouTuber Catalea in person. And before I had actually gotten to the expo, I had arranged to pick up some of Catalea's critters to transfer them into my own collection for use as educational animals. So before we get to the new critters that I'm super excited about, Alea also gave me this print of one of her artworks. It is a Europlatus silkerae, a leaf-tailed gecko, signed by Catalea. This is just a print, it's not an original artwork, but it's very nice. So I stuck it in a frame, it's going on the wall somewhere. So underneath this framed print is something that I have been itching to talk about for a while. I'm really excited about these guys. So straight from the collection of Alea Lynn, these are my new 3 swamp boogers. So these 3 goobers are called barred tiger salamanders. These are the first species of salamander that I'm keeping long term. They are little beauties. They're all about half size right now. They have the potential to reach over a foot in length. This is one of the largest terrestrial salamanders in the world. I'm wetting my hands so that I don't harm their delicate skin with the oils in my skin, but I call them swamp boogers for a reason. These are the cutest, most prehistoric looking things. If you take a good look at them and their goofy little Muppet faces, it transports you back to the Carboniferous era when these things were the beasts of the land. These are arguably the coolest living ancestors of the giant 6-foot amphibians that used to roam the land. So yeah, I have 3 salamanders now. These are going onto my amphibian shelf. They're going to round out my group of amphibians really nicely. I'm excited about these because they are a Texas native. They'll make great educational animals, and they are joining the ranks of my giant African bullfrog, my Sonoran desert toad, and my Gulf Coast toad. These are the goofiest little critters, and I think the only appropriate name to call them is swamp boogers. So we have my boogers, we have my bugs, we have my plants, we have this illustration, and all of our supplies. That leaves one last addition, and I can see her crawling around in the background, so I'll be right back. Okay, it took me way too long to get her back into her cup. She was already having a good time in her perfectly nice enclosure over there, but this little orange beauty is my new Western Diamondback rattlesnake. So believe it or not, there is actually a morph market for rattlesnakes. Just like ball pythons, leopard geckos, bearded dragons, all those common reptiles and amphibians that have all sorts of varieties of colors and patterns, there is also a market for rattlesnake morphs. There are even scaleless ones. So this particular girl is an absolutely beautiful tangerine albino Western Diamondback rattlesnake. She is only a few weeks old. She has eaten 2 meals so far, and she has shed her skin twice. I dropped $150 on this animal, and I have no regrets. Her name is Morph, not so much because she is a morph, but mostly because she's named after the little pink blob in Treasure Planet. So she is my little pink blob, but she is also venomous. So she joins the ranks of my other venomous snake, Smokey, the western cottonmouth, and hopefully she lives a nice long life with me. I think she is the absolute prettiest thing. So that just about covers it. We have my western diamondback rattlesnake, Crotalus atrox, tangerine albino morph, 3 barred tiger salamanders, 1 species of isopod, 1 species of cockroach, 3 species of plants, 1 very nice art print, 2 lids, 4 heat pads, 2 feeding ledges, and 2 sets of cups. That is everything that I picked up at Herps Conroe in September 2018. So thank you all very much for watching. My name is Daniel Carter at Afro Herp Keeper. If you have any questions, feel free to leave them in the comments section below. If you enjoyed the video, feel free to leave a like. If you are new to the channel, you'd like to see more of this stuff in the future, be sure to hit subscribe. And if you're already subscribed and you want to get notified when I upload new content, be sure to hit the little bell icon. Thank you all very much for watching.